There are new allegations about the behaviour of one of the country's largest private vocational education providers, Careers Australia. Last year, 730 revealed door-to-door salesmen were targeting poor communities using so-called free laptops to sign up people for expensive training courses with Careers Australia, leaving them in significant debt. Now, a former staff member claims the private provider has moved the dubious selling practices into large call centres and the company continues to target vulnerable people. The ACCC says it will investigate the new allegations, as Michael Atkin reports.
I'm a careers advisor and my role is to help people like you explore career options.
I had never signed up for anything to do with Careers Australia. I had no idea that they existed, and they just called me out of the blue one day after my 18th birthday.
Inside this Brisbane city office block, a large team of telemarketers is working hard to meet their targets.
We're supposed to sell 6 to 9 diplomas a week, and they did range between $16,000 and $22,000. There's leaderboards, bells are ringing, gongs are banging. There was a gong, all the time, every time somebody got a sale.
The product being pushed is vocational education.
We're targeting vulnerable people, and we are obviously not advising them of the range of consumer protections.
Originally, I thought my parents had given them my details, because when I was talking to them, they actually did have a copy of my credentials. They knew what years I passed, they knew my employment.
18-year-old Troy Hattrick received a phone call out of the blue from Careers Australia in June.
I said just something like physical, like some kind of labouring, like welding or landscaping or something like that. And they said that I wouldn't be able to get a job in that field unless I did this course.
Troy Hattrick was shocked to learn he'd been signed up for a $17,000 online course in leadership and management.
I didn't actually say I wanted to do the course or not. I just said I was interested. When they did put me through that process, they basically read me a couple-page long legal document over the phone, which I didn't have any idea what they were actually saying. I definitely did feel under pressure, and I felt like I hadn't even signed up for the course.
What Troy didn't know is Careers Australia had obtained his details after he signed up to an online job site.
How exactly did you get my information?
If you applied for a job and you didn't get it, they send information we get information from them as well.
The fine print said his details would be sent to third parties.
They were working to scripts, they were working to, some pretty proven hard sell techniques to get him to sign up, both for the management course, which seemed to me entirely inappropriate for Troy.
At Careers Australia.
Careers Australia is one of the most profitable vocational education providers in the country. Last year it billed the taxpayer for $230 million in student fees.
At Careers Australia, doors slam open.
In May, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission took action against the company for breaching consumer law from August 2013 until April 2015.
We allege that they sold courses to vulnerable and disadvantaged consumers, that they misrepresented the fact that if this course was done, that would help them gain employment, and separately, they didn't let people know that you actually, when signing on for these courses, incurred a debt that would stay with you for life.
The action followed a 730 story which revealed door-to-door salesmen were targeting some of the poorest communities in Australia using so-called free laptops to sign people up for expensive courses. The company agreed to forego $160 million in federal government funding and promised the ACCC the bad behaviour would stop.
Part of our objective was to get the debts written off for the people who signed up, and part of our objective was to get money back for the Commonwealth taxpayer.
But 730 has been told little has changed at Careers Australia.
It seemed that these practices were still continuing, just in a more sophisticated form. Instead of using door-to-door people, they were using high-pressure sales tactics with telemarketers. Hello, it's Peter calling from Careers Australia. How are you?
Former Brisbane call centre worker Peter Jensen alleges Careers Australia is aggressively signing up as many people as possible, regardless of whether they're capable of completing the course.
The majority of people that had the time to put up with a 40-minute sales pitch usually were unemployed. There were some people that had profound substance abuse problems.
Peter Jensen also alleges laptops are being offered as loans to close deals with potential students.
I vividly remember a young gentleman who said that he was bored looking after the kids and he'd like to do a course but didn't have a laptop. And I explained to him that that wasn't going to be a problem. We do have an Accelerate program that can provide you with a computer. The next day I get a call from his sister saying that she wants to do a course and she mentions the laptop.
Careers Australia strongly denies any wrongdoing and has branded Peter Jensen a disgruntled ex-employee.
It's not being used as an inducement as I understand it. We have hundreds of good staff in those call centres that aren't on performance management, that did not resign from our organisation.
Will you now investigate those claims by Peter Jensen?
If Peter has any legitimate evidence that he used them in his calls, which is in breach of his employment agreement and the conditions we place on our staff, then of course we would look at it.
Cold calling potential customers and using laptop loans as inducements could be breaches of new federal government rules.
Look, I'm exceptionally concerned to hear those allegations, and if the undertaking we have is being breached in either letter or spirit, then we've got the capacity to take stronger action.
If you're cold calling people during the day, aren't you likely to get mainly unemployed people?
We don't cold call. The federal government has banned cold calling. The data that we do purchase is done through a registration process. They clearly know that it's Careers Australia.
Careers Australia claims it's cleaned up its act since the ACCC investigation. But 730 has learned the vocational education regulator, ASQA, has received 68 student complaints since April 2015 and is continuing to investigate more than 30.
We've had over 2,000 graduations this year, Michael, so we believe that we are graduating students who want to study.
Troy Hattrick has decided not to pursue the course with Careers Australia.
All right, so you wish to withdraw your enrolment now?
Oh, yeah.
All right then, Troy. If that's the case, I'll just cancel your enrolment.
They want someone like my son to sign up for $17,000 worth of debt. It must be fairly easy for them to manipulate the education bureaucracy in Australia. And I really call into question, where is the supervision of these sorts of organisations?
Troy has started a TAFE course in landscaping and is excited about his future. But after his close call with Careers Australia, he wants to warn others.
I believe if I hadn't talked to my dad and talked to my mum about this, I would have definitely signed up for this and put myself in $17,000 of debt. And I think with the tactics they use, they definitely are breaking some law, or at least morally are questionable. And I think it needs to stop.